Welcome to English Together, where confidence grows one conversation at a time. I'm Melissa, and today we're going to talk about something that can feel very frustrating when you're learning English. Have you ever been in a conversation and know that you knew the word you needed, but when it was time to say it, the word disappeared? Then maybe 5 minutes later, when the conversation was over, the word suddenly came back. And you thought, why couldn't I remember that when I needed it? If that has happened to you, I want you to know something very important. It does not mean that you're bad at English. It does not mean that you're not smart. It does not mean that you forgot everything you've studied. It usually means your brain knows the word, but it hasn't practiced finding that word fast enough during real conversation. Today, we're going to talk about why that happens, why it's so normal, and how you can train your brain to find English words more quickly when you speak. Let's start with an example. Imagine you're talking to someone and you want to say the word appointment. You know the word, you've seen it before, you understand it. When you read it, you understand it when someone else says it. But suddenly, when you need to say it, your brain gives you nothing. Nothing. Blank. Nada. Then later, when you're alone, your brain says, appointment. That was the word. That can feel so annoying. But here's what's happening. There's a difference between recognizing a word and retrieving a word. Recognizing means you understand the word when you hear it or see it. Retrieving means you can pull the word out of your memory and use it when you need it. Those are related skills, but they are not the same skill. Think about a grocery store. If you walk through the grocery store and you see a tomato, you recognize it immediately. But if someone asks you to make a grocery list from memory, you might forget to write down tomatoes. That doesn't mean you don't know what tomatoes are. It just means recognizing something is easier than remembering it without help. Vocabulary works the same way. When you read English, the word is right there in front of you. Your brain only has to recognize it. When you speak English, the word is not in front of you. Your brain has to go find it. That's much harder. Now, imagine your vocabulary like a large closet. Some words are hanging right in the front. You use them every day. Words like food, work, home, good, tired, and because. Those words are easy to grab, but other words are in the back of the closet. Maybe you know them, you've studied them, but you don't use them very often, so when you need them quickly, your brain has to search. And in a real conversation, you don't have that much time. The person is waiting. They're thinking about grammar, or you're thinking about grammar. You're thinking about pronunciation. You're thinking about whether your sentence sounds right. And now your brain has to find a word from the back of the closet. Of course, that feels difficult. That is a lot of work. Now, here's the good news. You can train this skill. You can make words easier to retrieve. But you don't do that only by reading more vocabulary lists. Vocabulary lists can help you learn words, but speaking practice helps you retrieve words. That's the part many learners miss. They study more and more words, but they don't practice pulling those words out during speech. So their passive vocabulary becomes very large. Passive vocabulary means you can understand, but their active vocabulary stays smaller. Active vocabulary means words that you can use when you speak or write. Your goal is not only to learn more words, your goal is to move more words from passive vocabulary into active vocabulary. Let's use a simple example. Maybe you know the word recommend. You understand it when someone says it. I recommend this restaurant. But when you're speaking, you always say, this restaurant is good. That's okay. You're communicating. But if you want to move recommend into your active vocabulary, you need to practice using it. You might say, I recommend this restaurant. I recommend this movie. I recommend practicing English every day. I recommend writing down new words. Each time you use the word, it becomes easier to find. The path in your brain gets stronger. Think about walking through grass. The first time you walk across a field, there may be no path. The second time, maybe you can barely see where you walked. But if you walk the same way every day, a path appears. Your brain works in a similar way. Every time you use a word, you make the path stronger. Now let's talk about pressure. Pressure makes word retrieval harder. You may know a word when you're alone. But when you're talking to a boss, a teacher, a doctor, a customer, or someone you just met, suddenly it's harder. Why? Because now your brain is not only thinking about English, it's also thinking, don't make a mistake. Don't sound strange. Hurry up. What if they don't understand me? That stress uses mental energy, so your brain has less energy available to find the word. That is why you might speak better alone than you do in real conversation. That doesn't mean your English disappeared. It means pressure changed your access to the English you already know. This is very normal. Now, I want to give you a different way to think about forgotten words. When you forget a word, don't think, I failed. Think, my brain needs more retrieval practice with that word. That's it. No shame, no embarrassment, just information. Now let's learn a skill you can use when the word disappears. The first skill is describe the word. If you forget umbrella, you can say, it's the thing you use when it rains. If you forget refrigerator, you can say, it's the machine that keeps food cold. If you forget receipt, you can say, the paper they give you after you pay. That's not bad English. That is communication. Native speakers do this too. We forget words and say things like, what's the word? You know, the thing used for, or it's like, it's the thing that, this keeps the conversation moving. Let's practice. Imagine you forget the word microwave. You could say, it's the thing you use to heat food quickly. Good. Imagine you forget the word appointment. You could say, it's the time I scheduled to meet the doctor. Good. Imagine you forget the word neighbor. You could say, it's the person who lives near me. Excellent. This is a powerful skill because it teaches your brain that forgetting one word does not have to stop the entire conversation. Now let's practice retrieval together. I'm going to ask you simple questions. Answer out loud. Don't worry about perfect grammar. The goal is to make your brain search for words. Ready? What did you eat yesterday? Good. Now add one detail. Was it healthy, delicious, spicy, sweet, or simple? Excellent. Next question. What is something you need to buy this week? Good. Now explain why you need it. Very nice. Next question. Where is one place you went recently? Now tell me what you did there. Wonderful. Notice what we're doing? This isn't complicated English, but your brain is practicing finding words without reading them first. That is a retrieval practice. Now let's make it a little more focused. I'm going to give you a category. Say 3 words from the category. Ready? Food. Say 3 food words. Great. Now transportation. Say 3 transportation words. Good. Now feelings. Say 3 feeling words. Excellent. This type of practice seems simple, but it's powerful. You're teaching your brain to find words quickly. Now let's talk about another method. Use new words in personal sentences. A personal sentence is a sentence about your real life. If you learn the word appointment, don't only write it, I have an appointment. Make it real. I have a doctor's appointment on Friday. Or, I need to make an appointment next week. If you learn the word improve, say, I want to improve my English speaking. Or, my listening is improving slowly. Personal sentences are easier to remember because your brain connects the word to your life. Now, let's talk about mistakes. A common mistake is to try to memorize too many words at once. You might write down 20 new words from a video. It's not wrong, but if you never use them, they may stay passive. It's better to choose 3 useful words and practice using them in several sentences. Quality is better than quantity. Another common mistake is waiting until you feel ready to speak, but speaking is how you become ready. You don't build speaking confidence by only studying silently. You build it by practicing out loud, even if you're alone, even if your sentences are simple, even if you make mistakes. Your brain needs the practice of finding words in real time. Now, I want to show you a simple daily practice routine. It only takes 5 minutes. First, choose one topic. For example, food, work, family, shopping, travel, or health. Second, set a timer for 1 minute. Third, talk about that topic out loud in English. Don't stop. If you forget a word, describe it. If your grammar is not perfect, keep going. If you repeat yourself, that's okay. The goal is not perfection. The goal is retrieval. After 1 minute, write down 2 words you wanted to say but couldn't remember. Look them up. Then use each word in 3 personal sentences. That's how you turn a frustrating moment into progress. Before we finish, I want you to remember this. Forgetting a word does not mean the word is gone. It may simply mean the path to that word is not strong yet. Every time you speak, you strengthen that path. Every time you describe a word, you forget every time you describe a word you forget, you become a better communicator. Every time you practice answering out loud, your brain gets faster. So the next time your mind goes blank, don't panic. Take a breath. Use another phrase. Describe the idea. Keep the conversation moving. That is real fluency. Fluency is not never forgetting words. Fluency is knowing how to continue when you do. That's how confidence grows. Okay, conversation challenge. Today, ask yourself 5 simple questions in English and answer them out loud. You can ask, what am I doing right now? What do I need to do today? What did I eat earlier? Where did I go yesterday? Or what do I want to improve? If you forget a word, don't stop. Describe it another way and keep speaking. Then come back to me and tell me in the comments which question was the easiest and which one made your brain work the hardest. Remember, confidence doesn't grow by watching videos. It grows one conversation at a time. Thank you for spending part of your day with me. Until next time, keep practicing, keep speaking, and keep growing your confidence one conversation at a time. If you'd like to get more practice speaking English, contact me at EnglishTogetherHub.com and we can practice English together.